message that will ignite a fire in your soul and fill your heart with hope. It's a message that has stood the test of time, a message that resonates with each of us in the deep recesses of our spirit. There are times in life when you feel like you're on the edge of something greater, and it seems like every step you take toward your dreams is blocked. You struggle, you fight, you hustle, you give everything, but for some reason, it still doesn't feel like you're moving forward. And then, just when you think you have finally found the right path, you hear a voice deep within your heart saying, "They are not for you." But let me tell you something tonight. When that voice speaks, that's when you need to listen. When God closes one door, He is about to open another that will lead you to a destiny far greater than you could have ever imagined. You see, God's purpose for your life is greater than anything you could plan for yourself. His vision for you is more expansive than any dream you've ever had. And sometimes the people you want in your life, the doors you want to walk through, the paths you want to take, they are not meant for you. I know, it's hard to hear, it's tough, it stings. We want people to see us, to support us, to walk with us. We want those doors to open wide, those dreams to be realized, and that success to be in our hands. But hear me now. Sometimes the very thing you are praying for is the very thing that could hold you back from God's greater plan for your life. There are moments when we ask, "Why, God?" We ask because our vision is limited. We ask because we can't see beyond today. But God, in His infinite wisdom, knows exactly where He is leading you. He sees the things you can't see. He sees the obstacles you can't yet understand. And He sees the people who will either help you soar or weigh you down. When that voice says, "They are not for you," it's because God is protecting you. It's because He knows that if you stay in that relationship, that job, that friendship, that business venture, you will not grow into the person He has destined you to be. And let me tell you, there's no better place to be than in the center of God's will for your life. Oh, but we fight it, don't we? We fight it because we are human. We fight it because we want to hold on to what we know. We resist the unknown, even when it holds our greatest breakthroughs. But hear this now. If God is saying no to something, it's because He is about to say yes to something far greater. Look back for a moment in your life. Can you see the times when God closed the door? You were upset. You felt rejected. You felt confused. But then, after some time, you began to understand. You began to see that that closed door was a blessing in disguise. It was God's protection. It was God's redirection. And though you didn't understand it then, you see now that it was part of His perfect plan for you. God is never wrong. He is never confused. He is never uncertain. And He is certainly never too late. His timing is perfect. His will is perfect. And if He is saying they are not for you, then you must trust that He is leading you towards something greater. Trust that. Trust in His wisdom. I know you might be thinking, but I love them. I need them. I can't do this without them. But listen to me. When you let go of what God says is not for you, you are making room for what He has for you. And let me tell you, what God has for you is far greater than anything you could ever cling to. That job, that person, that dream. If God says it's not for you, it's because He's saving you for something bigger, something better, something more aligned with your purpose, your calling, your destiny. When you let go of the wrong people, the wrong situations, the wrong opportunities, then you create space for the right ones to come in. You create space for those who will uplift you, inspire you, and walk with you as you pursue God's calling on your life. You create space for new doors to open, doors that lead to greatness, doors that lead to a future full of joy, fulfillment, and purpose, doors that will connect you to people who will stand by you, who will cheer for you, and who will build you up when you are weak. But you have to let go first. You have to trust. You have to believe. God is not in the business of holding you back. He is in the business of taking you forward. His plans are always for your good. And if he says they are not for you, then you must trust that he is leading you toward something greater. It's easy to cling to the things and people we know. It's easy to want to hold on to what feels comfortable. But comfort doesn't create greatness. Faith does. Trusting in God's plan, even when it's hard to understand, will bring you the peace that passes all understanding. Trusting in God's timing will bring you the joy that lasts beyond your circumstances. Trusting in God's voice when he says they are not for you will lead you to the life you were born to live. God is calling you to rise above the distractions. He is calling you to let go of what is holding you back. He is calling you to step into the unknown, to step into his promises, to step into your destiny. So I challenge you tonight, when God says they are not for you, listen. Trust in his plan. Let go of what is holding you back and prepare your heart for the great things he is about to bring into your life. You are on the verge of something magnificent. You are on the brink of a breakthrough. But you must be willing to trust God's redirection, to walk away from what he is closing so that you can walk boldly into what he is opening. If you are in a season of uncertainty, if you are facing closed doors, I want to encourage you today. I want you to hear these words and believe them in your heart. God is not punishing you. He is positioning you. He is preparing you for something far greater than you can even imagine. When God says they are not for you, listen and let him lead you to your purpose. When God says they are not for you, it's a statement that can be difficult to understand, especially when the things or people we desire seem so right in the moment. Our hearts ache with the thought of loss or rejection, but we must learn to trust that his decisions, even when they don't align with our own, are for our ultimate good. The truth is, God's redirection is often a form of divine protection, even if it doesn't make sense at first. In life, we are often driven by our desires, our emotions, and what we think will bring us happiness or fulfillment. We want certain relationships, opportunities, or experiences because they feel like the next logical step in our journey. But sometimes those desires may not align with the bigger picture God sees for us. We may want someone in our life or something to work out a certain way, but God knows better. He sees what we cannot, understands what we don't, and knows the future that lies ahead. When God says they are not for you, he is not rejecting us, he is protecting us. There are people, situations, and paths that might seem appealing, but they are not aligned with the destiny he has planned for us. We may not always understand why a person or opportunity was taken away, but rest assured, it is part of God's plan to preserve the purpose he has specifically designed for your life. Sometimes we are called to walk away from things, even when they feel like the very things we've been hoping for. But his love for us is so profound that he doesn't want us to get distracted or trapped in situations that will ultimately lead us astray. Think of it this way. How many times have you pursued something or someone only to find out later that it was never meant to be? In hindsight, those closed doors, although painful at the time, have often turned out to be blessings in disguise. When you look back, you may realize that if you had stayed in that relationship, job, or circumstance, it would have kept you from growing, from moving forward, and from becoming the person you were meant to be. God knows what you're capable of, even when you don't see it yourself. He sees your potential, your calling, and the unique path that he has paved for you. There are things that, if allowed to stay in your life, could keep you from reaching that full potential. Sometimes it takes the wisdom of God to understand that what we think we need is not really what will help us. His decisions, although they may feel difficult in the moment, are ultimately the best decisions for us. Moreover, God's protection isn't just about keeping us from harm. It's also about guiding us toward the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances that will align with the greater plan he has for our lives. By trusting in his redirection, we free ourselves from pursuing things that are not meant for us, and instead we open ourselves up to what he is truly calling us to. In those moments of pain, confusion, or disappointment, when it feels like we're losing something precious, we need to remember that God's protection is a form of grace. His redirection might feel like loss, but in reality, it's a step towards something better. So, trust Him. Trust that when God says they are not for you, trust in the process, and know that His decisions are always for your good, even when it doesn't make sense at the moment. In moments of rejection, confusion, or disappointment, it's natural to question why things aren't working out the way we envisioned. We may feel like the doors we've been knocking on are being shut in our faces, leaving us in a state of frustration, wondering why our plans aren't unfolding as we had hoped. But it's in these very moments that we must remember this powerful truth: God's timing is perfect. His plan for human improvement and our spiritual and ego growth, when only we enter it, has been painted by many masters as a perfect plan for our lives. The challenge we often face is that we are limited by our understanding of time. We live in a world where things move quickly, and we are accustomed to instant gratification. We set goals, we make plans, and we work hard to achieve them, expecting the outcome to be swift. Yet God operates on a different timeline, one that is far more intricate and filled with wisdom. His timing is not bound by the constraints of the moment, but rather by the eternal wisdom of a creator who sees the entire picture. At times it may feel like the doors we've longed to walk through are closing, but we must understand that those closed doors are not signs of failure or rejection. Rather, they are signals that God is redirecting us towards something far more purposeful. While we may feel hurt or disappointed in the short term, it's important to trust that God, in His infinite wisdom, knows exactly when and where we need to be. He understands the precise timing that will allow us to thrive and fulfill our true potential. God's timing is like a masterfully woven tapestry. Each moment, each event, each encounter is placed in just the right order to bring us to the place we are meant to be. If things were to happen according to our own timeline, we might miss key lessons, experiences, or blessings that are vital for our growth and for the fulfillment of His purpose in our lives. What seems like a delay or setback is often part of a much greater plan that is unfolding behind the scenes, where everything works together for our good. Think back on moments in your life where things didn't go according to your plans, yet eventually you saw how those delays or disappointments led you to exactly where you needed to be. Maybe you didn't get that job you desperately wanted, only to later find a position that was a perfect fit for your talents. Perhaps a relationship didn't work out, and in time, you realized it wasn't meant to be, making room for someone more aligned with your values and your purpose. In hindsight, you see that what felt like rejection or loss was actually God's perfect timing at work, preparing you for something even better. There is a divine wisdom in the waiting. Though it may be hard to understand in the moment, we must trust that God is not delaying our dreams or desires to punish us. Instead, He is aligning everything in the universe to bring about the best possible outcome. This can be a difficult lesson, especially when we are anxious or uncertain, but it's crucial to trust that God's timing is always for our benefit. God's perfect timing also means that He will never allow us to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. He knows when we're ready. He knows when we've grown, matured, and are prepared to step into the blessings He has for us. And when we're not ready yet, He lovingly waits with us, guiding us through the waiting period, helping us to grow in patience, faith, and trust. So the next time you face a closed door or a situation doesn't unfold as you had hoped, remember this: God's timing is always perfect. Trust that what feels like a delay is actually a step towards something greater. Trust that His plan is unfolding precisely as it should, and in His time, the right opportunities will present themselves, ones that are tailor-made for you and the purpose He has placed on your life. Have faith that, though the journey may not always be easy or immediate, God is working all things together for your good, and His perfect timing will bring you to the place you are meant to be. Letting go is one of the hardest things we are called to do in life. It's natural to hold on to things that we've invested our time, energy, and emotions into, whether it's relationships, jobs, or dreams that have been with us for years. But sometimes what we don't realize is that holding on to what God has closed off can actually hinder our growth and block us from stepping into the blessings He has waiting for us. When we let go of what isn't meant for us, we create space for better things, things that will help us grow, flourish, and align more fully with the purpose God has set for our lives. Think about it. When we cling to something that is no longer serving us, whether it's a toxic relationship, an unfulfilling job, or a dream that doesn't align with our purpose, we're effectively holding on to a version of our lives that's incomplete. It may feel safe, familiar, and comfortable, but it can also be a cage that limits our potential. We may not even realize the emotional and spiritual weight we're carrying by holding on to something that no longer aligns with our destiny. We've all experienced those moments where we don't want to let go. The job we thought would be our dream job, but it doesn't fulfill us. The relationship that once made us feel loved, but now makes us feel drained. The dreams we've chased for so long, only to realize they no longer ignite the passion in us they once did. Letting go in these moments isn't just about saying goodbye to something. It's about making room for something better. God is never asking us to let go of something unless He has something greater waiting for us. And letting go is an act of faith, trusting that His plan is better than our own. When we hold on to things that are no longer meant for us, we are essentially saying, I don't trust that God has something better. But when we release what's in our hands, whether that's a relationship, a job, or even a dream, letting go isn't easy, but it's necessary. We can't move forward in life if we're constantly looking back or clinging to the past. The moment we let go, we open ourselves up to new opportunities, new relationships, and new possibilities. It's like a garden that needs to be cleared of dead plants before new flowers can bloom. Similarly, when we release what's not meant for us, we make room for growth, both in our hearts and in our circumstances. Think about the relationships that God is guiding you away from. Maybe there are people in your life who aren't helping you grow, who are draining your energy, or who are simply not meant to walk with you on the path ahead. It's hard to say goodbye, but sometimes God is calling you to let go so that He can bring people into your life who will help you grow, support your dreams, and encourage you in your faith. These are the people who will help you move forward, not keep you stuck in the past. The same goes for your job or career. Perhaps there's a position you've worked so hard to get, but now it's clear it's not the right fit. It doesn't challenge you, doesn't bring you joy, and doesn't allow you to use your unique gifts. Letting go of that job opens the door for a new opportunity, one that aligns with your calling, one that brings out the best in you, and one that will be a better fit for who you are becoming. And then there are dreams. We all have dreams, some that we've nurtured for years and others that we've added along the way. But sometimes we must face the reality that a dream we've chased is no longer what God wants for us. Letting go of that dream might be difficult, but it's often necessary for us to embrace a new vision, one that's better, more aligned with God's purpose for us, and one that will bring true fulfillment. Letting go isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of trust. It's an act of faith that says, I trust that what God has for me is better than anything I'm holding on to right now. It's not about abandoning your hopes and desires, but rather allowing God to direct them towards something that will bring you more joy, more purpose, and more impact. When you let go, you open yourself up to new blessings and opportunities that you might not have imagined. You allow God to fill the spaces that have been taken up by things that no longer serve you, and in doing so, you make room for growth, for better relationships, for opportunities that match your true calling, and for the fulfillment of God's greater plan for your life. So, Don't be afraid to let go. Don't be afraid to release what's no longer meant for you. Trust that God is making space for something far greater and that the best is yet to come. In the release, there is growth, and in the growth, there is transformation. Allow yourself to step into the new things God has for you, knowing that when you let go, you are making room for better things to come into your life. It's human nature to resist change. We are creatures of habit, and there is a sense of comfort in the familiar. Whether it's a job, a relationship, a routine, or a way of life, we often find ourselves clinging to what we know, even if it's not serving us in the way we hoped. Change, by its very nature, challenges us. It stirs up fear, uncertainty, and discomfort. Yet if we are ever to experience true greatness, it's not through staying in our comfort zones. It's through stepping out in faith, trusting in God's plan, and embracing the discomfort that leads to growth. When we face the choice between comfort and faith, we're often tempted to choose the path that feels safest. After all, why would anyone want to step into the unknown when they can remain in the familiar? The problem, however, is that greatness does not come from maintaining the status quo. It doesn't come from holding tightly to what we already know. Greatness is born from faith, from trusting that God's plan for our lives is greater than anything we could design for ourselves. It's about letting go of the illusion of control and trusting that His path, though it may lead through unfamiliar territory, is the one that will bring us to a place of peace, joy, and fulfillment far beyond what we could have imagined. Faith is what calls us to step into the unknown. It's what pushes us to believe in something bigger than ourselves. It's what compels us to trust that God's timing and purpose are at work, even when things don't make sense. The world often tells us to rely on our own understanding, to seek comfort and security, to avoid risk. But God calls us to something different. He calls us to trust in Him, even when the way ahead seems unclear, to step out of our comfort zones and into a future that only He can see. God's plan for your life is greater than the comfort you hold on to today. Yes, it may be difficult to walk away from what is familiar. Yes, it may be challenging to take that leap of faith into something new. But here's the truth. The discomfort you feel today is nothing compared to the peace, joy, and fulfillment that will come when you trust God. He has plans to prosper you, to give you a future and a hope, Jeremiah 29:11, and that future is often beyond the boundaries of what you can currently see. When we choose faith over comfort, we are choosing growth over stagnation. Comfort may feel good in the moment, but it will never stretch us. It will never challenge us to become the person God created us to be. Comfort keeps us where we are, but faith pushes us toward what we are destined to become. The journey of faith often takes us through trials and challenges, but it is in those moments of discomfort that we learn the most about ourselves, our purpose, and the strength God has placed within us. The story of Abraham is a perfect example of choosing faith over comfort. When God called him to leave his homeland, to step into a future he couldn't yet see, Abraham had no idea where he was going or what awaited him. But he trusted God. He stepped out in faith, leaving behind the comfort of everything he knew, and in doing so, he became the father of nations, experiencing a life far greater than he could have ever imagined. Had Abraham stayed in the comfort of his old life, he would have never seen the promises God had for him. It was through his faith, through his willingness to step into the unknown, that he received the fulfillment of God's promises. The same is true for us. If we want to experience the fullness of God's plan for our lives, we must be willing to choose faith over comfort. We must be willing to trust that He knows what's best, even when we can't see the path ahead. It's easy to stay where things are familiar. It's easy to resist change because we fear the unknown. But true peace, true joy, and true fulfillment come not from clinging to what we know, but from stepping into the future that God is calling us to. Comfort is temporary, it's fleeting, but faith in God's plan brings lasting peace. It brings fulfillment that transcends the struggles and the unknowns. When we trust in God, we align ourselves with His perfect timing and purpose, and we step into a life that's far beyond our own understanding. That's where true greatness lies, not in staying in what's comfortable, but in having the courage to trust God, to embrace the discomfort, and to follow where He leads. So, the next time you face the choice between comfort and faith, remember that God's plan is always bigger than anything you can imagine. Step out in faith, trust Him, and know that He will lead you to a life filled with peace, joy, and fulfillment that far outweighs any temporary discomfort you may feel along the way. At times, it can be difficult to understand why certain people, opportunities, or dreams seem to slip away from our grasp. It can feel like rejection, failure, or even like we're being held back from something important. But what if I told you that God is actually leading you to something greater? That those things you lost or the people who left weren't stepping stones on your path. They were obstacles that were preventing you from reaching the full destiny God has in store for you. What He has planned for you is far better than anything you could have imagined. And trusting in His plan will open doors to a future filled with blessings beyond measure. When God closes a door, it's not to punish you, but to protect you and position you for something better. In fact, the very things we think we want may not align with the bigger purpose He has designed for our lives. We often get caught up in our own plans, thinking we know what's best for us. But God sees a far broader and more intricate picture than we ever could. He sees the future. He understands the challenges we will face, and He knows exactly what we need to grow and fulfill the purpose He has for us. Think about the times in your life when you faced rejection or a door closed in your face. Perhaps you didn't get that job you worked so hard for, or a relationship ended that you thought was meant to last. In those moments, it's easy to feel discouraged, to wonder why things didn't work out as you expected. The people who leave your life, the opportunities that pass you by, may not be part of the bigger story God is writing for you. Sometimes we cling to relationships or dreams that no longer serve us because we think we need them to feel complete. But God knows what you need, and He knows the people and opportunities that will bring you closer to your destiny. If you hold on to what's not meant for you, you might miss out on the new blessings and experiences He's waiting to bring into your life. It's a hard truth, but there are things and people that God will remove from your life to make room for better ones. It may hurt to let go, but you must trust that what He has